and girls, welcome to story time. Today I'm gonna read you a book called Does It Sink or Float? You can look at the picture on the cover. The little girl is thinking, what are those objects that she has around? What are they gonna do? Are they gonna sink or float? Let's find out in this story. Does It Sink or Float by Susan Hodges. Susan Hodges is the author and illustrator of this book. What is matter? All objects are made of matter. Matter is anything that takes up space and has mass. Mass is the amount of material in an object. A tiger, flowers, and everything you see around you is made of matter. You are made of matter too. So tigers, flowers, people, and trees, we are all made of matter. What are properties? Matter has properties. Properties describe how something looks, feels, tastes, smells, or sounds. We can taste this lemon to learn if it is sweet or sour. Sweet and sour are properties that describe how something tastes. We can look at this Ferris wheel to learn about shape. Shape is a property. The Ferris wheel has a round shape. Float or sink. Properties also describe how something acts. An object can float or sink depending on what materials it is made of. For example, some things float or stay on top of a liquid such as water. I see this iceberg staying on top of the water. Other things sink or float to the bottom of a liquid. Objects that float are described as buoyant. Buoyancy is a property of matter. Does it float? Rubber ducks float. They are fun bath toys. Water wings float. This girl is wearing water wings on her arms. They can help her learn to swim. Canoes float. People use them to travel over lakes, rivers, and oceans. Now think, boys and girls, about why do all of these objects need to float? Think why a rubber duck, the water wings, or the canoe need to float. Does it sink? An object sinks or floats depending on its properties. An anchor sinks so it can keep a boat in one place. Stones sink. We use them to make stepping stones across water. A net sinks. People use them to catch fish. Some nets have floaters to keep them from sinking to the bottom of the ocean. Now you have to think about why do all these objects need to sink? Just think of why. Why do things sink or float? Objects are made of materials which have density. Density is a measure of how closely together matter is packed. An object with low density floats in water. It is made of materials that is less dense than water. This lead floats because plastic is less dense than water. An object with high density sinks in water. It is made of materials that is denser than water. These coins sink because metal is denser than water. So you can see the coins over here in the bottom of the water. Now think about this question, boys and girls. Wood is a material that is less dense than water. Would a toothpick float or sink in water? And how do you know? High density or low density. Rocks are denser than water. Rocks sink. Objects made of metals usually sink. A still diving cage sinks. Cage. A feather is less dense than water, so it floats. A lily pad floats on water. It is less dense than water. You can see the lily pads over here floating in the water. Just add air. Some objects have air in them. This helps them float. A rubber boat floats. So does a beach ball. A submarine has special compartments or sections. When they are filled with water, the submarine is denser than water. It sinks. When the compartments are filled with air, the submarine rises. Now has less density than water. What will happen if you put an empty bottle in water? What if you fill it with sand? Think about the bottle. If you put it empty, what is going to happen in the water? Will it float or will it sink? And what about if you put sand in the bottle? Will it float or sink? Get in shape. The shape of an object can help it float or sink. A flat piece of plasticine floats. A round solid ball of plasticine sinks. Rubber flip-flops float. They are flat. Now imagine you want to float in water. What will you curl up in a ball or stretch out flat? What will you guys will do if you want to float in water? Will you curl up like a ball or will you stretch out flat? And that is the end. Hope you enjoyed the book, boys and girls. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.